you want your width from your arm to your shoulder, or the length of your thread from the arm to the shoulder, about. Okay, you need a needle, and you're going to thread it through the needle. Now this, you'll have to back up here. Okay, so I'm going to thread it so that I have a long one and a short one. Okay, now this is my story that goes with this. So the needle and the thread are getting married. And the needle is the groom, the thread is the bride, and this little short piece is the veil. So this long one is the dress, and this little short piece is the veil. So that's going to help you remember that you need a short one and a long one. We're going to be thread or knotting it down here on the long piece. Okay, so you're going to bring that up. The bride and groom are getting married. They're standing in front of the preacher. Okay, they go in. Okay, they go in for the kiss, but they miss. Okay, and they hug instead. Now I'm going to take my finger that's on the same side as the needle hole, and I'm going to pinch that. Then they hug for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, then I'm going to take my fingernail and just stick it over that knot. Okay, then so you're going to pull that over the knot. Okay, then it forms this little knot on the end. After you get married, you can't keep dating. You have to cut off the ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend. Okay, so there he goes, right there. Okay. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is actually pin the opening. So when you pin to sew them together, you want your pins perpendicular to the edge. But when we are sewing by hand, when you do it by machine, the pins are in like this. But when you do it by hand, we want the pins like this because we want the pin out of the way so it doesn't get tangled. We don't want the thread to get tangled. But notice how I pin. So I call this pin stitching. So it's like I make stitches with my pins so it holds it together better. And it's just going to hold the opening. So instead of just pinning it with one bump, there's 2 or 3 bumps on it. Okay, so this, when you press this edge should have looked like it should have been tucked in, so it looked like it was stitched. So now you're going to take your needle and thread. Now I'm going to do 2 magic tricks, and they're both going to make things disappear. So you're still going to get closer. Here. So I'm going to cut off all my hanging threads so I don't get mixed up on which thread is which. You guys are going to want to get close to. Okay, so you're going to take the tip of your needle and you're going to find, I'm going to stick it in here and find the beginning of my stitch. It's right there. Okay, then I'm going to bring my needle up so it's right on the edge and it's going to come up through the top of that fold. Okay, just right through the top of the fold. Okay. Now, if you do this right, it will be completely invisible. Okay, so I'm going to take that needle and I'm going to tuck the knot into the fold. Okay, then exactly where this comes out on this side, I'm going to go into the fold on this side, and I'm going to do a little tiny stitch. Okay, now notice how my needle is going parallel. If you put your needle in going perpendicular like this, that stitch is going to wrap around and it's going to show, and it looks really bad. So exactly where it comes out here, you're going to go into the fold there. Okay, so the needle's going right through the top of the fold. Okay, make a little tiny stitch, and I'm going to leave the stitches showing so I can show you the magic trick. Make the stitches disappear. So you can see a little bit of the stitch there, exactly where it comes out there. This is also called the ladder stitch because it's going to look like a little ladder. The stitches will look kind of like a little ladder before I tighten them. Okay, then you do the same thing. You can just go back and forth. Okay, and then you go back to this side. You go with the needle inside the fold. Okay, now notice how you can see the stitches there. I can see these 3 stitches that I put in. 1, 2, 3. On the count of 3, it is going to disappear. Everybody say it with me. 1, 2, 3. Okay, gone. If you did it right, those stitches will completely disappear. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to pretend like I stitched it all the way to the end. and then I need to knot it. So I'm going to show you how to knot it. So here, my needle is just going to pick up a tiny bit from the inside of the fold here, and a tiny bit, just teeny, 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 tiny threads. And then you're going to put your thumb in the thread as you're pulling to hold the loop. So you want a loop here so that you can pull your needle through. So you can pull your needle through the loop. Bells. Okay, and then after you do that once, then you're going to go under. You're going to go under there. And then you're going to go through the loop again. Okay, now that, see how that needle is, or that knot is showing on top? You're going to take the needle and you're going to go down. And it doesn't matter because it's already knotted, so it doesn't matter where you put the needle. You just have to make sure the needle goes in where the knot is, but it can come out anywhere. Okay, now see the knot? See how you can see it? On the count of 3, we're going to make it disappear. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Gone. Okay. Then you just cut it after it's, you don't have to knot it because it's already knotted. And then, so it's going to look, the edge is going to look like this. So you may see the stitches just a tiny bit, but you shouldn't hardly see them at all. The less you can see them, the better you did.